Hello, good afternoon as we go through our journey through connecting. Today is thinking about connecting in two ways. There's a duality of connection. We connect to our environment, right? The world around us, we are physically connecting to it in some way. But yet, in order to connect to the world around us, we also have these internal connections within ourselves that allow us to move and do things to make the connections we want with the world. So that's what we're going to focus on today. We're going to kind of focus on finding these interconnections and then finding how we can use them in our environment. And what we're really going to focus on today is how to connect in a way that we feel more balanced and stable as we're standing and walking and moving. That's always a nice thing. So let's start by standing up. And since this is a video, I guess I'm going to have to go to work and do some stuff with you all. So we're just standing. And just notice how you feel connected to your environment. How do your feet connect to the floor? Is one foot connecting differently than the other foot? Do you feel each foot a little differently? Then slowly shift your weight to one side. Notice which side you picked first. And as you have your weight on this side, notice how you connect with your foot to support your weight on this side of yourself. And then notice how something shifts in the other leg and the other foot as you take weight off that side. And then you can come back to the middle, find the weight on both legs. Maybe something changed a little, maybe something didn't. And then shift the weight to the other side. Notice how this is different. Does this side feel as solid or as connected? Normally we'll shift our weight to the side that we feel more solid and secure on first. So go to the one side, notice what's happening. Come back to the center. And notice what you feel on this other side. Looking for differences. How does the way your foot contacts with the ground, how does that influence how stable or secure you feel on that foot? One more time to each side so you can really kind of get a feel of where the starting point is. So we can figure out what changed and maybe what improved over the course of the lesson. Okay, then the next thing we can do is you can just walk around a little bit, and I'm walking toward the computer and just kind of seeing how I'm walking and noticing as I walk, if I feel a difference between two sides, if I feel a difference between how each foot's contacting. Do I feel more supported on one side as I walk as opposed to the other side? And what I'm feeling at this moment is I'm kind of, I don't know if you can see it on the video, but I feel like I'm kind of falling to my left. I feel like I get tall here, and then when I step on the left foot, I kind of fall a little bit to the side. So I feel much more supported on my right side than I do on my left side. So that's a nice thing to note, to remember, to see if maybe that will change over the course of the lesson by the end of the lesson. Now, for this lesson today, you're just going to need a chair. Most of the lesson's going to be done in a chair. We'll do a little bit standing at the end. I'm just going to tilt the computer down a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Maybe not that far. Maybe move back a little. That's better. Okay. First thing is, if you cross your leg, is there one leg that's more comfortable to cross over than the other leg? And you're going to kind of cross it so the ankle's at the knee. You're not going to cross it knee to knee. You're going to kind of cross it the other way so your foot is more easily available. So just find out for yourself which is the more comfortable. And for me, it's this way. The first area we're going to think about today is the heel. And you can see right here, we have the heel. And if you press on different parts of the heel, you'll notice that parts of the heel are more solid than other parts of the heel. All right, so I'm like this. I'm pressing on the inside of the heel, pressing on the outside of the heel, pressing on the middle of the heel, and just notice which part of the heel feels solid, because if we, he's not going to cooperate. If we look at the back of the heel, right, you can kind of see it's more toward the outside of the foot. The bony part of the heel is more toward the outside of the foot than it is the inside of the foot. So what you can do is you're going to take your hand, find this bony part of your heel, and you're just going to bring that heel a little up and down like this. Okay. So a little up and down is actually going to be towards your knee. So you can kind of see what I'm doing with this hand. Just bringing that heel a little upward, a little downward, right? And we can feel as the heel goes up, notice how the toes go. As the heel goes down, notice how your toes go. And just feel how the heel is connecting through the lower leg toward the knee. Now, is it easier to bring the heel upward, or is it easier to bring the heel downward? If it's easier to do it one way, just kind of focused on that easier way. And then you can just go the opposite way. And see if that got a little bit easier. Okay, so that's one movement the heel can do, this up and down, but the heel can also go a little side to side. Kind of creates a supination and pronation movement in the foot. So if I have my hand here, yeah, you can put its leg down for a second. I'm just kind of holding my heel, and I'm just thinking about rolling, rolling. Just holding just under the ankle. And again, you may find one way is a little easier than the other way. So just start with the easier way. And then see if you can gently take it the other way. And we're going to play with this a little bit. So one way, right, you can take the heel and the knee the same way. And now we're going to differentiate a little bit. So as the heel goes up, the knee goes up. As the heel goes down, the knee goes down. And now we can kind of feel some movement in the ankle joint and how that heel can move. Okay, one more thing with the heel. You can just think of moving your heel in a little bit of a circle. And you can feel the other hand on the knee, and the other hand can just kind of go with the circle that the heel's making. Okay, this one's a little tricky. Now we're going to circle the knee kind of the opposite way of the heel. So the heel and the knee come together, and then they move apart. So the circle is kind of like this, or like that. Yeah, kind of like that. They're kind of coming together and apart a little bit. Now find that bony part of your heel, and you can take a loose fist and just tap it. Tap, 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 tap. Quick tap. Quick tapping. They do this a lot in Qigong and Tai Chi. They tap different parts of the body. See if you can get some Qi going in that heel. Good. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to put our feet on the floor. Is this going to work? Yeah, I got to move. And what you're going to do is you're going to think about these movements we did. So you're going to think about lifting the heel a little bit and then lifting the toes a little bit. And just kind of feel how you can roll over the heel. Feel the heel lift, toes lift. And you can feel the heel gets lighter, heel gets heavier. And then see if you can roll your heel on the floor. Roll on the inside part of the heel, roll on the outside part of the heel. All right, and one way is to keep the knee, the knee can go with the foot. The other way is try to keep that knee. It's going to move a little bit, but see if you can keep it vertical and see if you can feel the movement from the ankle to roll the heel. Then finally, what you're going to do is tap, 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 tap. Tap that bony part of the heel on the floor. Now just sit for a moment and notice which heel feels clear on the floor. And then to give yourself a little bit of a break, you can slowly come to the front of your chair. And take a little bit of walk and see if you notice how one heel is supporting you and compared to the other heel. And maybe one heel has gotten a little smarter. Maybe one part of you, maybe you know how to use one of these heels a little better than the other heel, and you can feel yourself more supported now. And then slowly find your way back. We're going to go a little above the heel and a little inward. And you can see there's just in front of the heels, there's these series of bones. How many bones are there? There's like 5 of them. You know, cool bones like the navicular and the cuboid, and I forget the other names. But we're thinking about these bones right here, just in front of the ankle. And then what you're going to do is we can do the same thing with these bones here right in front of the ankle. We can flex and extend the foot. And then we're going to do that little side to side motion. And then we're going to do little circles with it. And then we can also, as we do the side to side in the circles, we can kind of play around with the knee a little bit. Okay, so we have our foot. Here's the ankle. We're going right in front of the ankle and a little bit lower. And I can kind of feel these bones right here. So I'm just going to move these bones a little up and down, find what's easier. And actually, this movement feels a little easier. And then we can try how it feels going in this up movement. And if you want, you could even play with the toes. As I bring this down, I can bring the toes down. Or as I bring it up, I can bring the toes up. There we go. And then what you could even do is, it's a little tricky. You bring the toes up as you bring the foot down. Now we're kind of differentiating things a little bit. I'm right in front of the ankle. And then as I bring the foot up, I can bring the toes down. Okay, we're finding that part just under the ankle, a little to the front of the ankle, these bones just in front of the heel. And now I'm just going a little side to side. And I can have the knee, the foot goes down, the knee goes up. And then I can differentiate the knee and the right knee and the foot go up, knee and the foot go down. It's like I'm bending by the ankle over my other leg. And then we can see what it's like to make a little circle in this area. You can try circling the other way. All right, we can have the knee go with. Foot goes down, the knee goes up. And then we have like we're bending over the other leg in that circular way. Foot and the knee come together, they come apart. Move a little forward, move a little backwards. Getting all kinds of cool motion here. Now, what you can play with an idea, someplace just above your heel, you can find a little depression, which is kind of like the cuboid. And if you find that area just right, you have trouble finding it, then come to class on Friday and I'll help you find it. We have an in-person class on Friday. But you can feel it's like a button that connects right to your knee. It's kind of cool. Okay, we're moving back a little bit. You can see the foot. And now we're thinking of that little part, those bones in front of the foot, how we can push those bones a little toward the floor, feel that part of the foot flatten a little bit, and then how we can lift those bones up a little bit. So your toes will go up a little bit as you do that. And you can think it's kind of like these bones help build the arch of your foot. So you can feel how you can increase the arch by rolling these bones a little outward, decrease the arch by rolling them a little bit inward. And then if you want, you can just kind of tap where that little cuboid was, that little divot, that little hole. Or tap just in front of your heel, just so you become aware of that area. Okay, then what we're going to do is just stand up and just kind of feel where your weight is on one foot to the other foot. You can just kind of shift your weight one side, shift your weight on the other side. And maybe you're feeling that the leg we just worked on, maybe you feel your weight just in front of the heel a little easier. And then you can think about lifting the arch of your foot, flattening the arch of your foot a little bit. Feel how those bones move. Try it on the other foot, and you may notice that maybe it's not as clear on the other foot. So now we worked with that little area. Take a little walk and notice how those bones right in front of the heel, what part they play in your walk. And it's kind of interesting because you may feel they like compress. You compress into the ground and lift. You may feel like a little bit more sponginess in your foot. And you may feel how that arch flattens a little bit, but then it kind of bounces up a little bit and it kind of gives you a little spring in your step. Does one foot feel a little bit more springy than the other foot? Yeah, take your time coming back. Okay, we're working from heel to toe. So you can see we have this long bone here called your tarsal, and that's the part we're going to work with next. So let's bring this down, right? So we can think about this tarsal extending up, and then also kind of bending down toward the floor, extending upward, bending downward. And then also, right, this torso could roll a little outward, roll a little inward, little like that, little like that. So we have like a bendiness, bending down, bending up, rolling, rolling. Okay. Okay, so if you find your pinky, and if you go down the pinky toe, and you'll feel a hard thing, the ball of the foot, and if you go a little lower than that, what you're doing is finding the space between the pinky toe and the fourth toe. And then once you find this space, yeah, that's a better way of seeing it. Down here. So when I'm thinking about that long bone, I'm thinking how it can bend downward and it can move back upward a little bit. Bending. All right, if I want to, I can get the ball of the foot and the toe involved. Ball and the foot go up as the metatarsal goes down. As the metatarsal goes up, the toe goes down. And then you can differentiate this a little bit. Take your time to think about what you're going to do. So the toe can go up as the metatarsal goes up. The toe can go down as the metatarsal goes down. That's differentiating the toe from the tarsal. Up, yeah, said metatarsal. The metatarsal's someplace else. Good. Now, after we do that, what we're going to think about, we have this little area. So if you want, you can get that long bone in the little toe, get all of it, and just think you're just kind of bending, bending a little one way, bending a little the other way. So you're getting a little separation between the fifth metatarsal, the pinky metatarsal, and the fourth metatarsal, the ring toe metatarsal, getting some separation there. And after we do that, now we can move on to the fourth. I got the toe and the ball, and I'm just thinking about, bending it a little upward, bending it a little downward, a little up, a little down. As the torso goes up, the toe goes down, torso goes down, the toe goes up. And I'm playing with that a little bit, gently, lightly, soft. Don't want to leave any bruises. Okay, so now we're finding the space between the fourth toe and the middle toe, third one. And we're just going to do that little folding and unfolding here. Again, creating space. Okay, find your middle toe. There's the middle toe. Finding the ball. Now, finding that tarsal. So we can add the middle toe and we add the middle tarsal. Right, bending upward and downward. You can take the toe in the opposite direction. Toe goes up, torso goes up, toe goes down when the torso goes down. And then we want to find that space between the middle tarsal and the second tarsal. So once we can find that little space here, we're just going to fold and unfold. Okay, finding the second toe, going down to the ball of the foot, below the ball of the foot, finding the second tarsal, and again finding that bending. Tarsal bends upward, the toe goes downward. Torso goes down, the toe goes up. You can differentiate the toes. Toe goes up as the torso goes down, toes go down as the torso. Actually, it's the opposite. As the torso goes down, the toe goes down. As the torso goes up, the toe goes up. And then we're finding that space between the second tarsal and the first tarsal. And we're going to fold and unfold that space. Very gently. And then finally we have the first tarsal rather. Yeah, big toe. So we're finding this, and then we're finding how it bends upwards so the toe can go down. How it bends downwards so the toe can go up. Then we can take the toe in the opposite direction. Yeah, that works. And then what we can do with this first one, because there's nothing on the other side, we can kind of roll this torso around in a circle a little bit. Roll it the other way. And then if you want, you could even do that thing with the knee, where you take the tarsal and knee toward each other, away from each other. It's like you're folding and unfolding the ankle over the other leg. Yeah, and I'm feeling is this way's working better for me with just the two hands on one here. I can feel a place that I could use a little opening up. Okay, we did all the tarsals. And you can slowly come to stand. Just notice how you're standing on each foot. You can shift the weight one side, the other side. Notice that the roles that your tarsal are playing to help you stand. Take yourself for a bit of walk and what role do the tarsals play in walking? And does it continue or does it contribute to that spring-like effect of the foot? Can you feel how they kind of compress and widen downward and spring up as you walk? Those long bones, those long tarsal bones that connect from your heel towards your toes. Can you feel the role that they play? How we have this internal structure within us, within the foot, that contributes to how our feet find support with the ground. And notice as your foot finds better support of the ground, how the rest of you feels more stable and solid and secure. Your feet are saying, I got you. I got a feeling we're only going to be able to do one leg. Wow. Well, that's going to be kind of cool. So what I'll try to do is get this video up on YouTube on the Sense channel, let you guys live with this for a day, and then you can just do the video on the same side tomorrow. But let's see if we can finish up this one foot. Okay. If we look on the foot, you see these big bones here at the end of the tarsal. And that's your tarsal head. Otherwise known as the ball of the foot. So what we're going to do, let's get this computer down so you can kind of see, is let's start with the pinky. So find your little pinky toe and then keep going until you feel this really hard bony part at the base of your pinky. And I got one thumb over it and the index finger behind it, and the other hand supporting. And what I'm doing is just moving it up and down. We're going to move a little quicker. So we're moving this up and down. And then what you can do is just move it in a little circle. Oh, now let's do this instead of a circle. We're going to fold it. So we just kind of fold a little one way, fold it a little the other way. And then we can make a little circle. And then what we're going to do is multitask. So now I have the pad of my little toe and I have the ball of the foot. I'm going to bring them together. I'm going to bring them apart. I'm going to fold them in. I'm going to fold them out. And then I'm going to twist. The ball goes in. The pad goes out. Twist one way, twist the other way. And then what I can even do is I can think about lengthening and give a little twist and a little lengthening. So this area gets a little longer. And then let's find that next toe, fourth toe down a little bit. And we'll do this on Friday. We'll do a variation of this on Friday. So if you're not sure of what you're doing today, come in on Friday. We'll be able to do this in person, which is really helpful. Right? So just kind of pushing one way, pushing the other way. Thumb on top, index finger on bottom. Yeah, turning it a little left, a little right. Finding the pad of the fourth toe. Right? So as I press, I can kind of bring them toward each other, bring them apart from each other, a little toward, a little apart. Little in, little out. Twist one way, twist the other way. Okay, we got the middle toe, and then we're feeling for the middle ball of the foot. And we're just clarifying that ball of the foot, just pressing on it like a doorbell, kind of pressing both ways, moving it a little in and out. We can bring the toe and the ball of the foot together, hard. Twisting one way, twisting the other way. Okay, let's go. Second toe. Then I'm looking, seeing if I can find. It's interesting somehow the ball of some of these balls are harder to find than other balls. Not quite as pronounced. Okay, so I found that. I go up and down, in and out, side to side, right? We bring the toe and the ball of the foot toward each other. And we notice how they shorten in the back, that the front of the foot gets a little longer in the front, doing that gently. And then taking it the other way, taking them apart. And turn a little right, a little left. And then we can do the little twisty thing. One goes right, one goes left. Okay, let's go to that big toe. This is usually pretty easy to find the ball of the big toe. So just little up, little down, getting the feel of that. At the ball, turning the ball a little right, little left. Bringing the ball and the toe a little toward each other. A little away from each other. A little toward, a little away. Twisting a little one direction, a little other direction. A little right, a little left. Right, then ball goes right, toe goes left, getting a little twist. Okay, just take your knuckles, tap on the ball of your foot. And you can kind of tap on the pads of the toes a little bit. In a sitting position, just tap your foot a little bit and see if you can feel the ball of your foot as you tap. And see if you can gently press with the toes and feel the pads of the toes as you press. Okay, then what you can do, you know what, we're going to do it standing. So slowly, onto a standing position. Feel the difference of the 2 feet on the floor. And notice which foot feels more supported, more grounded. And shift your weight one leg, the other leg, and then notice again, where do you feel more supported? Where do you feel more grounded with which foot? And then think about bending one knee slowly. Feel how the one foot lifts up as you bend the knee and you feel the heel go up, and feel how that other leg really has you and supports you. And then bend the other knee, and then notice the articulation in the foot as you bend the knee, and notice how the other leg supports. So this bending of the knee, if these bones articulate and can move, they can adjust to the floor as your heel lifts and your weight goes to the front of the foot. And as you bend the knee and feel the articulation, you can feel how this other leg finds a way to support you. And then just think about that. Think of the bending of the knee and how, with the bending of the knee, you can feel how the bones move, differentiate from each other so your heel can come up easily. And rather than coming up flat-footed, notice what last part. Is it easier to notice the last part of your foot to come up on one side than the other side? And what is the last part of the foot to leave the ground? What's the first part of the foot to touch, and what's the last part of the foot to lift off? Moshe had particular ideas about that. So we did one side, we didn't do the other side. I'm going to let you guys play with that for about a day. And then tonight, my job will be to get this video up on YouTube so you guys can do the other side on tomorrow. And then if you're in the area and if you have any questions about it, come in on Friday, and Friday we can work on this on person and we can really get this dialed in.